We are now going to welcome a student panel.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Room, say hi to the panel. We'll introduce ourselves in a second, but I just want to take a second to say we wanted to end the evening with this discussion, conversational way of students from all of our ministries that are represented here tonight. And my prayer, my hope is that we might leave you with something that's a question or a joy or a hope, but something to take with you. My name's Dana. I use they or she pronouns. I'm bisexual and non-binary, and I work with Pastor Kate at Lutheran Campus Ministry, Twin Cities. And I will let the panel introduce themselves.
I think that means I'm starting because I got handed the microphone. Hi, I'm Anna. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm a senior here at the University of Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Adam. I go by they, them, and I'm a sophomore at the U of M.
Hey, I'm Fern. I use they, them. I am starting my Master's of Social Work in the fall.
Hi, I'm Parker. I use he, him, and I am a PSEO student.
We'll start our conversation off with this idea of becoming and kind of growing into who you're made to be. So can you share a part of your story or a journey in really embracing your gender identity and that discovery piece? What did that look like for you?
Like other people embracing us, or like us embracing?
We'll pass.
Your fault. It's your fault, John. Oh shoot, I think I took it off.
Oh, they're probably, no, it's good.
No? Okay. Just.
Which one is it? Look.
Here. Oh, what? Sure.
Yeah, so I guess when I'm thinking about queer identity, I kind of view it as beyond an identity, more like a way of being and living. So for me, being non-binary means that I try to challenge the status quo of the racial capitalist system that we live in. And I remember as a kid kind of challenging fundamentalist interpretations of the Bible from my community, which was the evangelical community. And sort of my first, it's kind of about resisting different types of readings of the Bible. And that was kind of key in my journey out of Christofascism. So I've kind of always viewed being queer as a form of troublemaking, an ongoing process of troublemaking, and of challenging the oppressive status quo that we live in.
Yeah. So, I don't know how to say this elegantly, but kind of going off of that, but away from people in a way. I find animals and nature very affirming in a very important way to get to accepting myself, because if you really look at nature, and yes, I'm a biology nerd, I was raised by two biologists, you're gonna hear a lot of crap about biology, but nature's not binary. There's hermaphrodites, there's all kinds of things. There's this thing we call sneaker males in some species, where a species will pretend to be a female to impress the ladies about how smart he is to get past the big brutes. Yeah, look up cuttlefish, they do that, it's pretty awesome. They also talk with colors, which is pretty awesome. But I have a flock of backyard chickens and ducks, and they've helped me the most because they don't really care what gender I am. They mostly care if I bring them food in the morning. But I've also seen queerness in my backyard flock. Like, I had a trans duck named Mooney, and Adam has a feather from Mooney. He started off as like a female who I swear laid an egg, and then became a male, but he was like the best drake ever because he was like not as aggressive as like cis drakes. Those cis drakes, like they're bad. Like I have to like so I have a cis drake right now, his name is Pumpernickel, and I have to put him in prison because he will pull out everybody's feathers. He's a problem. Mooney didn't do that. He gave the girls food. That was pretty cute. So tying that back, like, I don't know, I found acceptance there first, and then if people were cool with my crazy birdness, then they were like, okay, I guess that could happen too. You could be trans. But yeah, I got my Duck Dad outfit on, so.
Brenna, fix this mic.
We'll see if this works.
Check, 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 check.
So the question was just again, like, can you share a story or a part of your journey in embracing your gender identity?
This isn't so much a story, but I just remember, like, ever since I was a kid, gender's always terrified me because it felt like, I mean, growing up, it felt like the options that were presented to me were very binary, and then I was just deeply uncomfortable all of the time. And then as I got older, it felt like no matter what I told someone I identified as, there was always expectations that came along with it. There was this entire list of things that I had to be and I had to do suddenly and once you introduce yourself to someone, reintroducing yourself is really hard. So like when you learn something about yourself and you've known someone for 3 years at this point, it's hard to be like, hey, by the way, like, hi, I'm Anna. I'm not different, like I'm the same person you've known, but there's things that I learned about myself that I didn't know when I met you. And that's probably the hardest part of just wondering who are safe people to share that with.
Thank you, Anna.
I don't have a story either, but I do recall growing up, I would watch trans videos on YouTube, and I remember relating to both ends, whether that was the female transitioning to male or a male transitioning into a female. It was in a way where I couldn't understand why I didn't belong. I felt like I didn't belong with either of them. And as I was growing up, I felt really uncomfortable with the binary norms, whether that was I needed to wear a suit or I needed to wear a dress. It was like I needed to pick one, I can't do both. Anyway, that's all.
Thank you, Anna. With the theme of tonight's storytellers and our conversation, we of course have to talk about spirituality and our faith backgrounds. And so I'm curious, how have your understanding of God's love shifted and changed as you've grown into your gender? Or are there parts of scripture or your faith tradition that really are like affirming to you?
Yeah, so I can take this one. One thing that has really helped me is the Quaker belief of seeing that of the divine in everyone. So that means, the young mom whose child was taken away by CPS, the unhoused person in the encampment, the Palestinian refugee who was displaced due to US violence. And for me, bringing all these people into the realm of the human is something that's really helped me in my faith.
I've learned that people can't judge you. The only person who can judge you is God. And so knowing that, it's basically, what I've been told is that if a person judges you, you're basically a child of Satan. And so that was pretty affirming. Knowing that you don't have the right, people don't have the right to judge you because they have their own issues as well, but yet they're focused on you and they're focused on something that's they have no control over as well.
I feel like just looking like to the natural world and like I don't know, like God made that, it's not binary. Why should we put that on people? Because like it's all a spectrum out there, and it's like the animals do not care. They're just kind of doing their thing, and I guess I don't understand why that translates as something different for people.
What do you wish more people in the church understood or knew about being trans or non-binary?
We don't know everything about every trans person. We're still learning things and discovering more about people who are like us and not like us, and what like that everything's a spectrum. So yeah, like we're very similar. I don't know.
I think, yeah, we don't know everything. We don't have all the answers. But I think at the same time, sometimes when I'm introducing myself to people and I'm like, hey, I use they, them pronouns, I get this, like, there's this fear in people's eyes, like, oh shit, I'm gonna fuck this up. And I guess for me, and then I notice like kind of the avoidance, you know, they'll use my name a few times, but you know, the they, them pronouns aren't, you know, they're not that comfortable with them yet, which is totally fine. And I think a lot of people think like, what if I make a mistake? What if I make them upset? And I think that sometimes like effort and curiosity can be really helpful. Like I personally, if you make a mistake, like that's okay. Like we don't bite, you know. So I guess, well, some of us. I guess that would be my message to the church, would be effort and curiosity over fear.
The word unconditional means unconditional. You are loved exactly as you are for everything that you are, and anyone that's trying to put conditions on what is literally stated to be unconditional love, it's not from God. It's their own, whatever weird vendetta they have that they're trying to work out. Unconditional love is the best and also includes everybody.
I want people to know that we have to come out in many different ways, such as when, like at a bank, they say your dead name, but then you changed your name recently, and you have to like reiterate that that's not your name anymore. And I would say like also at like stores, when you shop at the women's section or you shop in the men's section, people would look at you differently because they see you in both sections, and they don't understand why. And yeah.
Thank you.
Just to like go off of something Fern was saying, like don't be too anxious about like screwing up. Like we screw up too. Like I've misgendered trans people. I feel horrible about it, but like I've done it. So if that like makes people more comfortable to like try, then yeah, I will share that.
There is lots of grace. We're at our final question of tonight. What would you say to another trans or non-binary person who's kind of navigating both their religious journey and gender journey? What would you say to them?
You don't have to know everything. It's okay to not have answers. It's okay for someone to ask you how you identify or your pronouns and you just to be like, Yeah, I know it can be really panicking, but it shouldn't have to feel categorical. You can be you, and that's more than enough.
I guess like in the media, there's just a lot of talk about gender dysphoria in trans people, but for me, that misses a huge part of the narrative, which is the gender euphoria that comes just like by being trans and being in community with other people. So wherever you are in your journey, we're here to love and support you.
My advice is find your people. That like sounds really big and scary, but it's like when you find people that are like your people, it will click and you will know, and like it'll get better. Things will just get better. It's not going to be dark and scary and like horrible forever. And if you find your people and work through that with them, it works wonders. Or find your chickens or ducks.
I would say just don't be afraid to be yourself. No one can tell you who you are.
And I think I want to answer this one. I think I would say, just as Anna was saying earlier, that you were just unconditionally loved by God, and you are created exactly as you are, and to embrace you is a holy endeavor.